Welcome to At a Glance, the series where we go over a game we had recently, go over what went right, what went wrong, etc. Take away, things you can learn from it, take away things you could learn not to do, because that's going to be the highlight of this first one. This one's a little different in that we're going over the same map, we're going over the same site hit, we're going over, literally, both times we're hitting B in these clips, but we're going to be going over two different games in which we go for this B site hit, both of which heavily feature Rauora as a big component of it, because if you're in the support role and the plan is to go for the execute and not like a across the map hit, Rauora can be fucking insane, especially if there are certain things the enemy does that you can catch during the prep phase. So this is the first game we're going to go over. To go ahead and fast forward it a bit because this really isn't important. Get on the roof, open the hatch for security. First, we fuse it, and this right here is me just being a moron. I'll admit, this is 100% my fault. Fuses the hatch. While it's fusing, I open up the hatch. Fuse. I did not realize fuse was going to breach open the hatch, so they just fell in while the fuses were going off. Killed themselves with the fuse charges. That was entirely on me. But this gives us a good chance to look at what we're working with in security. The site door to initiation, it's barricaded, which you should never fucking do, and that is part of what makes this work. The only things they have in control to look at us are a single mirror in the middle of two reinforced walls. So even if we drop into control, this doc on the Mira can't do anything about it except tell his team. As far as site itself, they've got a single wall still soft between bunks and initiation. Fenrir's just coming into initiation. Effectively, they have no way to fight us once we actually hit initiation, and that is what makes this whole plan work. So, Fuse just died. We're sort of figuring out what we want to do here, and I'm going to break little bits of this barricade here because that's one of the doors I want to Rauora. I know immediately we need that door hit. So I'm making sure there's no roamers. Going to go ahead and put a drone here to watch. Osa puts a shield on the control window. I'm going to join her on the window. Break the rest of this barricade. Fenrir saw me, but he didn't do anything. I'm going to put a Rauora on the initiation door. I'm going to check red, make sure no one's there, make sure I'm clear. And once I'm sure it's clear, I'm going to drop, because this is completely safe. It's Rauora'd off, which defenders can't activate. There's a cooldown on it. There's a mirror that's still closed. Ignore the replay viewer bugging. The mirror is still closed, which is why I'm this confident. The only way they could come at us, aside from impacting the Rauora, is from red, which I just droned. So, I meleeed that mirror. I put my next door on that door. So now we have full control of security. There is nothing they can do. I open the door. We have Osa set up to cut off anyone. They opened the mirror, which was a mistake because that lets me get Fen. I smoke off the site door. I rush in. I put my third door at the end of initiation. And I'm going to put diffuser down. Almost. I'm going to get the Ella that pushed in. I'm going to smoke, and now I'm going to put the diffuser down. So now that the diffuser's down, the Rauora in control is still closed. We are closing the door behind us into security. We have a Rauora closing in the actual site door, and we've smoked off the soft wall to our left. So there is no fucking way for the enemy to actually come into us without making a shit ton of noise. Rauora in this post-plant situation is fucking ridiculous. So we're just sort of holding in sight. The Rauora does get opened, unfortunately. I think they EMP'd it or some shit. The mirror is just fighting us in benches through this one door, and it's already over. The whole game is... I don't even know how long that game was. So the round was about 2 minutes long, not including prep. That's not bad. Rauora had full fucking control of this site by just pushing two rooms directly into site. We needed security, and we needed site. We got security almost immediately because of their terrible setup, and we got control of site because really, there's only ever one rotate, maybe two if they have someone playing arcade side, but they didn't. So we only had to worry about this one door, which Rauora closed. So now we're on the second game in which we pretty much do the exact same thing, same site hit and everything. I will give the enemy team credit. They were down a person. I will give them credit for that, but otherwise, the strategy itself is still strong. So instead of going to the roof immediately, I learned from that first time we tried the strat, I should be on the window, which granted, on Theme Park, very fucking risky. So I'm going to come up to the roof just temporarily, get the cam, make sure no one's going to jump out one of the south side windows, because that's what everyone on fucking Theme Park does. So I'm going to immediately open this window. I'm going to hit Red Hall door, as we saw. I'm going to hit site door, and we're protected. We're protected again. Monty walks right in, completely safe, only has to worry about what angle, which Monty's going to put his face in because he's Monty. So there's really no way for the enemy to contest us here. Door's a little open, so I try to get rid of that drone. I hope that was going to close it. It took a second, but it did. I will say, there was this really weird bug where the door didn't want to register the hits for a second, but almost negligible because we still get in. Make sure there's no one in the default plant. Monty walks in, door gets closed behind him. I'm going to immediately try to help by opening the door. I'm going to close off the site door, and just like you saw in the first game, smoke, we have Thatcher planting, and there's nothing the enemy can do. Because we have Monty in the door, which is now getting closed. We have smoke on the only door they could come through. There is someone actually going for the flank in control, which Finka takes care of. And I'm down. Eventually, Finka will res me. But we are still effectively in a 2v5 situation like this, with full control of site. Arguably, way better than the last game. I see the door back there is open. This is very stupid on my part. I decide I want to close the door. I didn't realize there was someone else flanking. So I get taken out by this mute, who then gets taken out by our overly confident, cocky as shit Doki, who went for the flash and knife. That is now 2 games where we did the exact same strat, where we close off security, we close off site, and just plant, and there's nothing the enemy can do. We've pretty much taken full control of site with next to no resistance. Being able to put doors down from far away like that the enemy has to actually use resources to open, is fucking ridiculous. Because before this, you'd either put a claymore on a door, or you'd have Monty standing in a door. And now we can just have a gadget that puts effectively sort of a Monty in the door. And there's really not much the enemy can do about it to stop it, except Jaeger or Wamai, or there's some weird interactions where the door will hit something on the way through. But yeah, this is probably my favorite site right now to play Rauora on, because it is so dependent on these doors, and there's not many rotates you can make. Like, it's fully dependent on, you know, keeping control of security. And if you lose security, not much you can do. Yeah, Rauora's a really fucking good support. I don't know why people would say she's bad in any capacity. Like, I wouldn't put her A tier, but like, when you know it's a site like this, and you know you can win just by closing doors, she is fucking ridiculous. And yeah, peace.